Matthew 5:43 to 48. Within the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus addresses a common saying among the people: "You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy." While the command to love one's neighbor was rooted in the law, the addition of hatred toward enemies reflected the hardened interpretation that had grown within Israel. The people had learned to divide the world between those worthy of love and those worthy of rejection. In this setting, Jesus introduces a deeper revelation of the character of God and the nature of the kingdom that was drawing near. Jesus says, "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." These words were spoken to a covenant nation living under the law, a people surrounded by tension, oppression, and conflict. Hatred toward enemies, whether Romans, rival sects, or personal adversaries, had become normalized. Yet Jesus reveals a righteousness that surpasses the traditional interpretations of the scribes and Pharisees. The command to love enemies was not merely moral instruction, but a revelation of the Father's nature. Jesus explains, "So that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven." Sonship in this context reflects likeness. The Father causes his Son to rise on the evil and the good and sends rain on the just and the unjust. The blessings of creation fall upon humanity without distinction. God's goodness is gifted to those who deserve it. In Israel's history, covenant blessings and judgments were often understood in terms of obedience and disobedience. Yet, even under that system, the prophets repeatedly testified to the mercy of God. Jesus now brings that truth into sharper focus. The Father's generosity extends beyond human boundaries of merit. Jesus contrasts this divine generosity with the limited love practiced by many within Israel. "If you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same?" Tax collectors were viewed as traitors and sinners, yet even they loved those who loved them. Likewise, greeting only one's brothers required no transformation of heart. Such conduct remained within the ordinary patterns of human reciprocity. By highlighting these examples, Jesus exposes the inadequacy of a righteousness based solely on external conformity. The kingdom he proclaimed called Israel to reflect the fullness of the Father's character rather than merely maintaining social boundaries of loyalty and hostility. The passage concludes with a statement that has often been misunderstood: "You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect." The term translated perfect carries the sense of completeness or maturity. Within the context of the Sermon on the Mount, this perfection describes the fullness of the Father's impartial love. The law had revealed righteousness through commandments and boundaries. Yet, the law also exposed the limitations of human ability to fulfill its demands. The call to be complete as the Father is complete ultimately pointed beyond human effort to the perfection found in God Himself. As the narrative of the gospel unfolds, the righteousness Jesus describes becomes fully realized through what He accomplishes. The covenant system that defined Israel for centuries was approaching its culmination. Through his life, death, and vindication, the reality of the kingdom would be established, and the righteousness of God would be revealed apart from the works of the law. In this light, the words of Matthew 5:43 to 48 reveal both the heart of the Father and the insufficiency of human righteousness under the Old Covenant framework. The Father's goodness extends universally, not according to human merit, but according to His own nature. The perfection described by Jesus ultimately reflects the completeness of God's love, a love that transcends boundaries, exceeds legal righteousness, and reveals the fullness of divine grace.